Broadcasting from Southeast Kansas, I'm Jonathan Switzer, and this is the first of two editions of the Roboblog Chronicles for the week concluding October 20th, 2007. This week I want to cover two topics, and we'll try and burn through them as fast as we can so we can hit both of them with an equal amount of coverage. The first one, which I think probably demands more of the time, but we'll see, is the recent release of Super Dimension Century Orguss, a 1983 series that many of the Macross staffers went on to do after that show's completion. Orguss is an interesting show. It concerns the events subsequent to the detonation of a time-space bomb. Two rival superpowers vying for control of the Earth. It's very early in the second half of the 21st century, and one of these superpowers decides to detonate this time-space bomb. A young pilot by the name of Kei Katsuragi is the poor sap who actually does the deed. And he's an interesting character because he is just this total lech playboy. Very unlike most of your protagonists you see in mech anime these days. Even, very different from the kind you would see back in the day. Most of them fit the more poor sap, Hikaru Ichijo or Amuro Ray sort of mold. But no, Kei is a lech and a pervert, and has more girlfriends than you can shake a stick at. So, but he's a fighter pilot, and he's got sort of a transformable, or at least a fighter craft that turns into a Guardian or Gerwalk mode. And he's the one who sets off the bomb, and he is at the center of the blast. So he wakes up 20 years later, and for him it's only been mere moments, but he wakes up 20 years later to find that the effect of the bomb is that all of these different Earths have combined. So not only do you have people who are normal human beings like him, but you also have people like the Iman, the people who he winds up with, a roving band of gypsies who buy and sell technology. And they're like human beings, only they have these two little tendrils that come out of the back of their necks. And when he notices this, he totally freaks out. And then you also have the very militaristic Chiron. And both of these sides want Kei, and the Iman want him so that they can sell him. And the Chiron want him for some unspecified goal, unspecified certainly at this early part of the show. Because apparently he's got some sort of dimensional residue on him or something. The term used in the old dub was he was the differentiated idioblast, which I don't know what that means, but it sounds very important. I cannot recall what the new subtitle version uses, but it's something equally esoteric. Anyway, so this is the U.S. DVD release of this show. It just came out 2 weeks ago, or at least the first two discs came out just a couple of weeks ago. The next two discs come out on Tuesday. And the thing about this release is it's done on DVD-R media. The discs are actually very sort of sticky to the touch. The inks have a very sticky feeling to them. And the compatibility of these discs, if you've got an older DVD player, maybe 10 years old, 9 years old, the player might not like them very much. I know the one in my front room doesn't. Now, the discs are released, they've got about 4 episodes per disc, and when you buy the first disc, you get the keep case, and the first disc consequently runs about $13. Subsequent discs cost about $10, and they just come in a little paper sleeve so that you can then turn around and put them in the case. The printing on the case is really shoddy. It's very hard to read the text on the back. The inks seem to be oversaturated. If you look at the front, the characters' faces have sort of a bluish look, and it shows up. It looks kind of nice when you see pictures of it, but in person, it's just way oversaturated. So the release feels kind of shoddy, but the picture quality is pretty good. It also has the old English dub. Orguss was originally released on VHS in the 1990s, and they got through 17 episodes, and they dubbed all of these episodes. And then the company stopped doing anime tapes, and nobody else picked it up. So they put the English dub on the discs, but I think the sync is slightly off. I tried to watch a little of it, and it just sort of nagged at me. It might not bother you so much, but the dub is kind of shaky, but there's a certain charm to it. It's fun to listen to, especially if you're an older anime fan and you're used to that sort of thing. Anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, we got time. We got time to hit the other topic I wanted to hit. A fellow by the name of I hope I pronounced this right. Tariq Mosler, I believe his name was. He emailed me asking about the chances of seeing Nova Satori and Marie Crystal in the Shadow Chronicles sequel, Shadow Rising. And the thing is, members of the 15th Squadron I can see, because once again, I believe Dana Sterling will be in some way appearing in the Shadow Rising, because she's set up in Prelude to the Shadow Chronicles. And beyond that, her parents are still aboard the Lost SDF-3, and her sister Maya is one of the main characters of the Shadow Chronicles. So it only follows that if you're going to set her up in the prequel comic series, and you've got these connections there, it makes sense for her to appear. Marie and Nova have no such connections. On top of that, Dana was established as being out there in space, because in the Love and War comic series that Wildstorm published, we actually get to see her taking off in this ship provided by Colonel Wolfe, along with Angelo Dante and Bowie Grant. So any of the other members of the 15th Squadron could also be aboard that ship. So the 15th, sure, the 15th, showing up in Shadow Rising would make sense. They're out there in space. I do not think Shadow Rising will be returning to Earth. I don't think they'll be covering events on Earth. I just don't get that feeling, because that the threat is out there in space. The SDF-3 is out there in space. So it only follows that the story remain out there in space. Nova and Marie, it seems much more likely to me that they remain behind to fight the good fight on Earth. And if we were going to be on Earth, I could see, following them around as, leaders of, the rebuilding of Earth, or, some such thing. But I just don't see seeing those characters again in Shadow Rising. So I hope that answers your question. So on that note, this is Captain JLS signing off.